today, obviously, because I have to put on my lip balm. I hope that your Thursday is going really well. It is, I think, April 10th today, and so many things have been happening overnight. I have a few different things that I think we should talk about. Let me know in the comments how you're doing, even if you are coming in after the live is over. I definitely want to know what your day is looking like today. Okay, let's start with this. The US stocks tumble again as trade war with China intensifies. Now, I know yesterday was a bit of a whiplash, and it was sudden, it was brisk, and it was predictable. We have been talking about how Donald Trump has always been a con man, in my opinion, and how he will continue to con the United States and the globe. But this is very interesting because I think what he thought, and I think what his team probably did think, is that they would just continue to thrive. Hey, you made it today. That's so great. But I think a lot of people thought that with that whiplash of buy now that he said on his Truth Social or whatever, and then the sudden reversal of the reciprocal tariffs for about 90 days or so, they thought that it was going to be okay. But this headline is not giving that. It's not. And I think that what I saw yesterday was that it is going to get worse. This whole, con man thing that he's really kind of made his MO is only like a stint. It's like good for a minute for his sort of persona, and then it just fades away. So let's talk about what that really means. I was talking about yesterday how I had seen a lot of different apartment complexes with their for sale, for lease, or for rent signs out. I think the recession is here. And I saw a few articles yesterday that basically said that his reversal doesn't even mean anything because no one can trust him. I don't trust him. You shouldn't trust him when it comes to flip-flopping on finances because it's predictable and it is really sad. It is a tactic that is tired, it is old, and people can now see the future. They can predict the future even if they are not a medium. It's kind of crazy. So let's get into something else. House Republicans expected to vote on key budget blueprint this morning to advance Trump's agenda. Now, yesterday, the headline was that Speaker Johnson was going to punt and that it wasn't actually going to be going anywhere. So this is a very interesting kind of development that maybe they will be, voting on his big, beautiful bill that he was talking about. My personal opinion is there are enough Republicans in this GOP kind of state of affairs that I don't think they're actually going to get anything done. I think he's gonna balk, and he's gonna need some Democrats to actually help his agenda. And this is the sort of quote here that was from CNN. We are committed to finding at least $1.5 trillion in savings for the American people while also preserving our essential programs. Now, I think this quote is very interesting because the intent of what he said the tariffs were for was to get the money to bring down the deficit. So if they're also trying to find savings to also do that same thing, it's kind of interesting that they are trying to do the same thing with two different mechanisms. Now, I'm not saying they shouldn't try to find savings or that they shouldn't use tariffs as a tactic, but the way that they're doing it and the way they're going about it is they're going to increase the deficit, they're going to try to take away social programs, and they're going to manipulate the stock market, which is not doing the right thing for the American people. Okay, then he goes on. Thune now says, the speakers talked about $1.5 trillion. We have a lot of United States senators who believe that is a minimum. And we're certainly doing everything we can to be aggressive as possible as to the seriousness of the matter. Okay, now both the House and the Senate don't see eye to eye. This is very important to remember because when the House passed that big, beautiful, budget resolution, and then it came to the Senate and they had to do that whole I don't know, waffle. And then the Democrats came to the table at the end of the day because they didn't want to shut down the government. That same scenario, I believe, will be true because they don't just change their stripes. It just is theater at this point. The dramatics are there and the theater will continue. They didn't shut down the government, but they also didn't get anything done. Hey Lala, how are you? So what do you think is going to happen? I want to hear you in the comments. Tell me, do you think they actually will pass this $1.5 trillion in savings? Do you think they'll find it anywhere? Because if they do, it's probably going to be Medicare, Medicaid, and Social Security. They're probably going to dip their toes into that somehow. Let's keep going because there's a few more that I wanted to get to. This one was interesting. Miss Pam Bondi is dropping charges against the guy that they said was in charge of the entire East Coast's MS-13 gang. Now, the guy was like 24 years old. And when that story came out, I was like, this is not the biz. I just can't imagine a 24-year-old being the head of the entire East Coast of a large gang like this. It didn't really pass the smell test. And now they're suddenly dropping some charges from this guy, and they're like in the filing, there's not really any reason as to why, which is so sus to me. So let me know in the comments if you have an opinion on why they would just suddenly be dropping the charges on this guy. It just seems a little bit too under the rug for me. All right, this is an interesting story because this morning apparently, and I haven't read the story just yet, but I caught the headline. This one was from yesterday. Tulsi Gabbard declared her residency in Texas, then she voted in Hawaii. Now, this is an accusation by CNN, and she is today saying she is threatening to sue them because of this. Now, apparently they have some sort of declaration that she claimed that she was a resident in Texas. And then they have some sort of clarification that she did not vote in Texas. She voted in Hawaii. Now, this is illegal. Now, a lot of the things that they're doing in this administration, I believe, are illegal as well. Will she be punished or will she get a slap on the wrist? Because people have gone to jail. I remember, I think there was a Florida woman who went to jail for voting more than one time. So if you're voting in another state that's not your state, when you declare the legal residence in a different state, how is that legal? The only way that I can understand that being legal is if you are a college student and your college residence is different than where your permanent residence is. But that is legal when you are filling out an absentee ballot, right? Because you're not filling it out for the state in which you go to school. You're filling out the absentee ballot for the state in which you have your permanent residence. So if she's saying that she was voting in Hawaii on an absentee ballot for Texas, then that's different than actually voting in the state of Hawaii. So it should be shaking out. I'm sure we'll get some clarification from Ms. Caroline Leavitt at some sort of press conference very, very soon. We'll see how she twists and turns this one. All right, this is the one that is a major player for today. If you have not seen this article, they're talking about Apple. This is from Reuters. Apple airlifts 600 tons of iPhones from India. Hi, Ian, how are you? To beat the Trump tariffs. This is from today at 2:58 a.m. Pacific time. I know iPhones are going to be extremely expensive. I have an iPhone 14, and I am going to keep it for at least 5 years. Because my husband and I basically just keep our iPhones for 5 years because the upgrades that they have, and maybe the cameras, maybe some of the chips, they do the iOS updates all the time. So the actual phone itself is good quality. I don't know, there's a TikTok guy that reviews iPhones all the time and when they have the new updates in phones. And I always feel like there's no need to get a new iPhone. I mean, maybe if it's pretty and it's cute and you just want the newest, latest, greatest. But I've had this 14 for like almost 2 years now, and I'm good. So you tell me in the comments, do you have an iPhone? Do you have an Android? And are you satisfied with what that particular device is doing for you? Ian says, I just bought a new one before it gets crazy expensive. Good for you. Tell me if you have seen any differences in the upgraded features of the newest, latest, greatest iPhone. Okay, and then yes, I saw the iPhone rush. People are probably going to rush to their iPhone stores, to the Apple store. Now, I'm not saying don't do that because I'm an Apple girly. I have a MacBook, I have an iPhone, I have an iPad, my daughters have iPads. But it is for the convenience of everything kind of seamlessly going together. Do I need to upgrade it? Probably not right now. I think I'm gonna try to wait it out. Now you're looking at a BlackBerry girl, okay? So I had a BlackBerry for the longest because I could not get rid of it. I loved my BlackBerry, and if they sold it still, I kept getting them because they were refurbished, and then after a while I had to just get an iPhone. Okay, Ian says I had a 12 I think before, so it was about time. So good for you. Okay, sometimes it is about time where the screen is cracked, you've dropped it, it's just been through the ringer. Once you've put it in rice, then it's it's probably time. Okay, so let's keep going into this article. So 600 tons. I don't even know what 600 tons actually looks like. Oh, I don't even know your real name. It says Vifaniston. Tell me what your name is. Is that your real name or is that just your handle? Because I never know what to call you because I'm just scared of mispronouncing it. You're an Android. It's okay to be an Android. I actually wanted to get another Android. Mar, how are you? From Armenia. I think that's what Armenia stands for. We have a holiday coming up celebrating Armenia because we always recognize here in LA Armenian genocide and the casualties and everything that occurred because we have such a large Armenian population. So welcome from Armenia. I wanted to get an Android because I started really focusing on YouTube, and apparently the YouTube Studio in Android is better than the YouTube Studio in the Apple phone. So who knows? But 600 tons of iPhones, as many as 1.5 million to the United States from India after it stepped up production there in an effort to beat the tariffs. So, I mean, just imagine like having to beat the tariffs. It's kind of crazy. Oh, it's Vivian. Oh, now I know your name. Thank you so much because I did not want to keep mispronouncing it. All right, this is another one. We were talking about iPhone production. This is from Peter Schiff saying Nike won't build factories in the United States. They will sell to countries like China, a much better strategy amid Trump tariffs. Now, this is from April 5th, and this was before the rigmarole that Trump put us through yesterday. So I'm not quite sure how that's going to shake out with Nike and Nike shoes and Nike factories being, moved back from overseas. I don't see that happening either. But let me get into a little more of this one. It says economist Peter Schiff warned Thursday that Nike won't shift production to the United States despite newly imposed tariffs, predicting higher prices and reduced domestic sales for the footwear giant. I don't think that they're going to shift them here either. So tell me if Nike's your brand. I'm a Nike girl. I went to University of Oregon for my undergraduate. We saw Phil Knight on campus all the time. So for me, I'm a Nike girl, but I am open to like Hoka. My husband loves Converse. There's a lot of different shoes you can buy, but a lot of this stuff is produced overseas. So we will most likely, if you're a sneakerhead, those shoes are definitely going to be going up in price. And it's really about finding the ones that are going to last. That are going to last through the Trump administration. Like if you can get some that are going to last for 3 years, do that. But here's my prediction though, as far as like shoes. I actually just went to WSS to get shoes for my daughters. Both of them got 3 new pairs of shoes. It was like back to school, get your shoes because kids go through shoes really, really fast. So what I would suggest, just like some of the discount stores like Ross and TJ Maxx or Off Fifth or something like this, all of those have the same product. Okay, it's the same product. It's just not the current season. I would start visiting those stores. If you're doing secondhand, vintage stores, stuff like that, vintage right now is really expensive. So I would stay away from the vintage store, but I would try to go thrifting. If there is a difference for you between thrifting at like a Goodwill or something like that. And the other is use what you've got, right? And the other is community. If you have people who are like, oh, my daughter just, she didn't wear these shoes, so maybe you can take them, or, vice versa. Those are the strategies that I would go with if you're talking about clothing or accessories. When it comes to Apple phones though, if your phone breaks and you probably got to get a new one, or, start getting one of those like really cheapo ones, the flip ones that you like back in the 90s. Oh my God, I might get a pager at this point. Anyways, these are my thoughts for this morning, April 10th. I hope you have a really great day. Get it going. Make it happen. Vivian, thank you so much. And Oh, it's Mari. Thank you, Mari, for telling me your name. And I hope you guys have a really great Thursday because this week has been a doozy. Again, my name's Sandra. It's been lovely talking to you. If you want to join me next, I will be on, what is it called? Substack Live. Thank you, Vivian. I'm trying to do a YouTube Live in the morning and a Substack Live in the evening. So if you haven't joined me on Substack, it's still my name, at Sandra Colton-Medici. You can find me over there, or you can read the description of this live stream to find my username at Substack. So I hope to see you on both platforms and have a really great Thursday. Bye, guys.